Hello people, it's Les from the 6mm France 1940 channel, and I was in two minds whether to do this video or not because it's only a Joy of 6 haul video, but I've just cleaned off all the moulding marks and what have you, so I thought I'd show you them anyway because there's some quite nice stuff here. I've got some FT17s already, but it turns out they're the MG version, so I thought I'd shell out and get these because these are the version of the octagonal 37mm turret, and so instead of simply pretending they're the right model, which I was quite happy to do, I thought, you know what, might as well buy these. So there's some with a 37mm, and instead of doing fancy camouflage like all my French tanks have got, from now on I'm just going to do them in some kind of olive because a lot of them were just in olive anyway. I needed another of these. I'd ordered one less at some point or other. It's a A13 Mark 1, and that's the side of it. It's really bright, brand new metal. It's not been sitting around on the shelves for very long, so this is obviously getting a very popular period now. And oh, I haven't done the top of the cupola, but anyway, the Mark 1 A13 comes with the A9 turret, which is reasonable, but the A9 cupola is the square one with the pyramid arrangement on top. So I've filed that into a drum shaped cupola, but I don't know if you can see, I haven't actually got round to, I've forgotten to file off the top, make that flat, so I'll do that in a minute. Moving on to my planes, because that was my biggest order, because frankly I've got almost everything I could possibly get for the period, but planes are something I'm a bit short on because, well, I prefer my land warfare, and my air rules have always been a bit basic, for want of a better description, but I thought, well, some of the French planes look really good, so let's get some of those, I thought. Well, first of all, I've got Bolt and Pull Defiance because I've always liked them, and obviously Bolt and Pull Defiance look fantastic. Sorry about next door mowing the lawn. Hopefully I'll get this done before he gets round to the back garden. So anyway, didn't have any Hurricanes, so I thought, well, they were pretty common in the period, so I'll get some of those. These have got loads of metal in them. Leo 641s, I think. Loads of metal. Slightly, I might have to adjust the angle of these rear surfaces because they should tilt up probably a little bit more actually. But that's a hell of a lot of metal in that if you look at it. It's going to have some good camo on that as well. These are, right, what's that? That's a Loire Newport, I think it is, 401. It's a dive bomber that the French had. I think it was supposed to be carrier based or something. I'm pretty sure it was some sort of naval plane really, but it ended up getting used on in the land war to some extent, so I thought that's different. I'll have some of those. Weirdly, look, the undercarriage goes up into these like pods in the wings, and also another weird thing about them, the tail surfaces, you kind of expect it to be streamlined the other way, but it kind of tapers backwards. A bit weird, but nice. So some of those. Yeah, free of everything of these planes, by the way. Free of everything. Dewoitine 520. I've got some Moraine Saulniers. Moraine Saulnier 406s, but I think they were slightly less common than these, so I thought I'd better get some of these because there's slightly more of these around than the Moraine Saulniers. So, and that's a tiny, amazing little plane. What else is in here? Oh yeah, and the Breguet or Breguet 690 series, 690, 691, 693. It's got a very fat cockpit, a very tall fuselage around the cockpit area. I like the shape of that. There's a few twin-engined level bombers the French did. No doubt one day I'll get them all, but I think I've got a good selection now. Right, so I've gone to the back of the back garden now to get away from that bloke and his lawnmower. These are my German bombers. For whatever reason I seem to have decided on the Dornier 17 rather than the Junkers 88. Possibly because it's got twin tailplanes, I'm not sure. And it's got a kind of, I don't know, distinctive top-down look to it. Look at the shape of the wings, I like that. And yeah, these were probably more common than the Junkers 88, that might be why I've decided to get these. Also, the Destroyer, ME-110. That's a really angular looking beast. Needed some of those because they were common, and yeah, nice. Finally, we got these monsters. I thought, how about some Heinkel 111s, because they must have flattened quite a few villages in their time back in the period. There's a lot of metal in these, obviously. I dread to think how much metal would be in a Lancaster or something. I know Heroics and Ross make some of their planes in resin now because, well, probably keeps the cost down. These ones here, I noticed there's a little nick V-shaped thing you got to cut out of the tail surface because, well, they can't mould that, can you? Can't be moulded, so that had to be cut out, which was fiddly. But they're massive. So that's them. All had the flash. Yeah, flash, that's the word I was trying to think of before. All of the flash cleaned off now. All I've got to do is paint the blooming things. One other thing I should mention that I've been buying from Joy of Six was obviously something from Leven Miniatures. Not a lot of people know that's how you're supposed to pronounce it, because that's where the company is based, in Leven, up there in the north of England somewhere. So anyway, Leven Miniatures shoe factory, because I wanted a decent looking factory for me sedan scenario, and that's going to stand in for the clothing factory at Glare near Sedan, where they, yeah, pretty much where they made the crossing from them. And this that you can't get anymore, I think it was one of their old airfield buildings. I can't even remember what this is called, but I thought, well, that's kind of boring looking. That'll do for a factory building of some sort. Anyway, you can't get it anymore, but I thought I'd show you it because I've got one. And that's also going to be part of my factory complex at Glare. Dare say I'll get a couple more buildings, and again, all I've got to do is paint the things. Something else I forgot to mention that I'd bought was these GHQ decals for my French tanks. They were £4.20, but at least I didn't have to pay, I don't know, £3 or £4 to have them posted to me because I got them from the show. So that was handy. These are the ones which, if you can see, they're the playing card shaped markings on the sides of turrets, and they also give you the roundels as well. Well, I've got loads of roundels from 600th scale DOMS decal sheets, but yeah, I use these as well. I think the registration's alright on these. Yeah, the registration is good on these, same as DOMS decals. The registration is good on those. These are going to be fun. I mean, the roundels on the sides of the T-15 Belgian tanks were bad enough. I don't know how I'm going to cope with these. hope you like that. Thanks for looking, and get into some 6mm wargaming.